Hi everybody, it's Attorney Brooke Goff. Bacon sip on Wednesdays. My hair's probably crazy. It's been that kind of a day. So, firstly, I have the wine of the day, right? We're making blueberry scones, which I have to be honest, guys, is probably my least favorite thing in the world to make because they're so hard to make. But we're gonna make them. We're gonna have fun making them, and it's gonna be great. I think I need to change I might need to bake over here because I think the angle's better. Bam. Yeah, much better. Then you guys can see me. So my shirt, right? I told you guys I'd be getting the shirt. Here it is. It just came in last week. I'm going to move some of my stuff over here just because it's a little easier and you guys can see me a little better. So this is a crazy recipe for scones. One is scone recipes are weird, guys. If you don't bake and you don't understand consistencies, then scones are not where to start. Trust me when I tell you they're not where to start. They can be a big pain in the butt, and there's so many little nuance rules, and if you don't follow them, your recipe's not gonna come out well. So I'm just moving the ingredients over here, right? So we have these here, and I'll tell you what all that is and all that good stuff. My vanilla, powdered sugar, cinnamon, and then you guys know how I am. I kind of just go as we go, right? So, all right, firstly, the wine tonight is the Riddler. I like this one very much. It's California Napa wine, okay? And it's good. And you can get this at Stu's, you can get it at Costco, and I don't know the price. If I had to guess, I think it's probably like 20 bucks, maybe, don't quote me, guys. But it's a really nice one, and it's not too bitter. I love red wine, much better than white wine in a lot of ways because I find red wine to be very dry. But the thing with wine, right? The thing with wine, as we all know, is that that you kind of get what you pay for. So the cheaper wines usually don't taste very good. So this is one of my faves. My favorite, though, I have to be honest, the one I'm really on a kick on right now is the Phantom wine from last week. But I didn't want to repeat it. I prefer to do a different one each week, and I give it out. We've had 2 winners now, though, not give me your addresses. So one bottle of wine, I don't know if you're watching now, but one of the recipients was received. It was from week 1. And week 2 was received. Week 3 and 4, though, guys, we need your addresses, and you've been emailed. So please make sure you get us those, or I'm not going to be able to mail them out. So, and that wouldn't be good, right? So here we go. I have all my ingredients here. I make these with frozen blueberries. They tell you can use fresh, and let me tell you the problem with using fresh blueberries in this recipe. The flour gets too dry. So you're gonna find as we go, and you can kind of follow me along, the consistency in a recipe like this is so important. And also, making sure that you're using the ingredients as called for. The secret to this recipe is frozen butter, not cold, I'll be happy to take care of the undeliverable wine. You know what? You'll be first on the list. Alyssa, no problem. So frozen butter. They say unsalted, I say salted. I've done it with unsalted. I think the salted butter adds a lot. And my mom is actually watching this too. My mom's a baker. That's kind of where I get the inspiration from a little bit. So she was baking my entire life growing up. And she still does. And every holiday she bakes 9,000 dozen cookies as if we're all gonna eat them. And she's great at it, but I strive to be better, right? So I do my best, and I'm sure she enjoys watching this too. So here's where we are. So this is the worst part of the recipe, and don't call me lazy, but nobody likes doing this, okay? Look, you have to grind the frozen butter. Well, and it's not fun, all right? So we're gonna start doing that. You have to do a whole stick, and it takes forever, all right? Which also stinks. So you can hear my dog in the background. My apologies. As you guys know, I do this from my home. My dog is a rescue mix, and she barks at everything that has ever decided to walk near my house. You're literally going to, okay? So I'm going to kind of start doing this when I'm talking to you, then I take breaks because I'm a total wimp, and then we'll get back to it. So first, start the oven at 400. Not any less. 400 is what it needs to be at. Again, you want to make sure that your butter is frozen, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. You're going to get some crinkles with the butter. That's normal. That's what you want. You kind of want it to look like almost like chocolate flakes, like when you flake chocolate a little bit, and it actually tastes really awesome. But what it's doing is it's just breaking up the butter. That's all. So this particular one right now is it's chilling out and sitting because I put the thing in backwards. My fault. On the outside of it. This is a new one. I usually have a bigger one. I'm using the smaller one, and clearly you can use it both ways, as you guys know, right? You can use it this way or this way. I was going to use it on the bigger side, but I thought twice about it. And then I just paid for it. So give me a second. Let me make sure I have it in right. This is with the butter you have so far. You're going to put that aside. And then you're going to start seeing the crinkles. Come on, there we go. That's what I want to see. Okay. So see? Crinkles. Like butter, like crinkles. Literally, it looks like the white chocolate that's on cakes, okay? And again, it's been a long day, but you're going to want to make sure that the catch pan, and you got to use this the catch pan. Don't put this over a bowl. You'll like scar your fingers. But you got to make sure your catch pan is actually on the right side so that you don't do what I just did and kind of mold it up a little bit, which is going to be okay. I don't bake at state fairs I go to state fairs. I enjoy them. I love them. I think they're awesome, but no way. And those people, like, they're like real about it. Like I love doing it. I do it for a hobby though, right? So that's that. So you guys are going to just grind this up in here, get it in here. This is like, should be the first thing you do because it's the worst thing. And I would have done it prior to getting on, but today was a busy day. So I didn't get a chance. So my apologies for that, guys. So first things first, obviously, this is a recipe for all-purpose flour. I'm going to make a gluten. So next week, I'll do something gluten-free for all you guys interested. And then the week after that, I have been getting, I might do it on a Thursday. I'm not sure because I don't want to take up a thing doing it. But people have been requesting I do dog cookies, which I actually do have a recipe involving carrots that are good, but I haven't made them in like forever. So everybody wants me to make dog cookies. Everybody's like, oh, do you do cookies for dogs? So we'll do a little lesson on that, maybe on a like random Thursday, maybe like next Thursday or something, if that's cool with everybody. And then we'll have some fun with it. But I know there's dog lovers on here, and we all unfortunately aren't in a huge hurry to frequent pet stores these days because of COVID. So what better way to just do it at home, right? So yeah, but Rosemary, I assure you, guys, this recipe is not fun to make. Scones are like not fun to make at all. I do not like making scones, but they're awesome. And I'm like, well, if I can challenge do it, right, on here, what better way? Don't catch your fingers on one of these things. Just like go around it. You don't want to put a huge chunk of butter in here, guys. So I'm literally just grinding it here, but you don't want to get a huge chunk of butter. So you literally just want to keep spinning it around like I'm doing, until you get to, and then go slower, obviously, as you're doing it, because you don't want to like cut your finger off here, but you'll be able to get it so it's so thin it's not going to matter, which is about where we are now. And then you grind the whole stick. It is such a pain. Throw the thing in the dishwasher when you're done, guys. Do not even try to clean this thing because it's horrible. And don't do it. So I have this other like bit of butter that, remember, I didn't put the thing on correctly. So you can just like go ahead and kind of like grind it in there. And then what's left that you can't fit, you can just put aside. It's still got that nice consistency. I'm just gonna wash my hands, guys. Just give me a second because I have butter all over them. And then we'll talk about the recipe. We'll talk about scones. And we'll get into it. So again, guys, secrets, frozen blueberries. A lot of these recipes get dry. Do you guys like you guys go to Starbucks, they've perfected the scone, right? But it doesn't just come like that. You might taste that it's a little dry, but it's perfectly dry. Again, they make bajillions of them at one time, or the mix that they use is already pre-mixed. You want to make sure that when you're making your scones at home, that you, because you're going to after we're all done mixing everything, you're going to get a little sticky square. You want to make sure you have flour on the side so you can make it a little more dry. But the frozen blueberries keep it so that it stays moist, and it's much better to have flour mixture that's moist than it is to have dry, because then you have to add more heavy cream, and then it becomes kind of a pain in the butt. All right. So to start, firstly, heavy cream, not light cream, not half and half, heavy cream. You need to use it. If you don't, it won't work, okay? There's also an icing recipe I didn't post. I'm going to make a super easy vanilla icing. I prefer vanilla icing on these. Some people like lemon. I get it. I like vanilla. You need confectioner's sugar. Use a little more of that heavy cream. If you want a thicker consistency, heavy cream, milk for a smoother consistency, and then you're just going to need a vanilla extract, because who doesn't love vanilla extract? It's vanilla, right? All right. So let's talk about our scones here. So I've already mixed a few of the ingredients. You're going to take 2 cups of all-purpose flour, not gluten-free flour, not, almond flour, not coconut flour, not any other flour, all-purpose, $2 a bag. You need that. You're going to take a half a cup of granulated sugar, not Truvia, not Splenda, Domino, $1.25 sugar, okay? And you're going to take 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. You guys know how I feel about baking powder, right? Bob's Red Mill's the best, right? I told you guys this, and again, they don't pay me anything to do this, so you guys should know that. But Bob's Red Mill is the best, okay? And you want a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Ground cinnamon, use the McCormick or something along these lines. If you go to I almost said Whole Paycheck, but Whole Foods, they have all kinds of crazy named cinnamons. Those are actually a little more bitter at times. You want just a regular ground cinnamon and then a half a teaspoon of salt, not sea salt, iodized salt, regular salt, okay? So you have all that. I did all that here, okay? You're gonna whisk it all together. So you're gonna throw it in here. I'm gonna grab my whisk and then you're gonna whisk it all together, okay? I always don't grab something. We all know that about me. So here, bam. So you're gonna whisk it all together. I love these bowls. These are my new bowls. Well, not new, but these are my new favorite bowls, and these are from Costco. And they're designed, you guys all know I get my bowls at Costco, to have like, they have like a lip on the top, so all the stuff doesn't like fly out. I can try an almond flour and stevia cookie, totally. I just, everybody tries to make normal recipes with Truvia, with Splenda, and keep the same measurements. You can't do it, guys. It tastes terrible. And the Truvia's and the Splender's one sweeter. So it just doesn't taste good. Okay, so you're gonna mix all that together, bam. You grated all of the butter, now you're gonna throw it into this mixture, right guys? So you're gonna go bam. They say to use a pastry cutter. I use them. I prefer to just use my hands. I have to be honest. I know it's the time of COVID. You guys just watched me wash my hands. So there's no concerns from you guys, right? So that's key. All right. So let's just knock this in here. That will work out perfect. See, so because butter's frozen, look how quick it starts to melt already, right? Especially after you grind it. So you want to make sure you get as much out as possible. Don't cut yourself clearly on the grinder. Just try to get as much out as possible because you don't really want to lose the butter, because the butter is where your consistency on the scones are going to come from. But again, just try to get as much out as possible. Okay, so you're going to go bam, done. Again, I use my hands. Some people use a pastry cutter, fine, whatever. I use my hands. And so what we're going to do now, we're going to dip it all and we're going to mix it. We're going to whisk it first just to get the butter coated. Trust me when I tell you, it makes it easier to do this. Don't start just get the butter coated, okay? And then you're going to have what's like little pea shapes, and that's actually your butter, by the way, in your thing. So you're going to go here, then you're going to get dirty, right? So you're going to just toss it around. Toss it all around. And it's going to continue becoming pea shapes. You want to break up any bigger pieces of butter. And you want to do it this way because if you don't, then the consistency is going to be off. Scones are all consistency. Trust me when I tell you, I'm not lying to you. It's all consistency. If you don't do it appropriately and properly, you will not get what you want and it will be a fail. And that's just the way it is. A lot of times when people make scones, they give up after the first time. Don't, because you'll start to learn what to look for in consistency. I made a batch last night. I always do a test batch the day before I do this. And they came out great. They came out good. But I had to do my consistency. I think I lost a little bit of butter when I was doing the grinding on the actual unit. And it took me, I had to add a little bit more, and it becomes a pain in the butt. But what you want, guys, is you want to get this consistency. Ready? So you want to get something like this. See? It's almost like pie dough. Do you guys make pie? Does anybody make homemade pie crust? You know that consistency you get, but then you have to add water to make it so that it's a little more stickier. Well, you're not going to do that here. Okay? So you're just going to toss it with your hands, and you want to get the consistency. So if you squeeze it in your hands, it sticks together like that. See? That's how you know you have the right consistency. And you want to just play with it. There's no such thing, in my opinion, with scones of overplaying with the dough. You just want to get a really nice consistency. You're using a lot of baking powder in these. That's going to make them rise up nice with the all-purpose flour. And it's going to also keep everything balanced. And you'll see when the scones come out how the flour and the baking powder make an interplay here. 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder is a lot for a recipe, guys. A lot. So that's what goes into here. When you're at this step, you're gonna be able to smell the cinnamon because that's tons of it. And you're just kind of mixing it together. Literally, if you make pie crust, it smells like cinnamon pie crust. That's what this makes. That's what it smells like. All right, so we're gonna hit this. We're gonna keep going here. And then what you're gonna do after this, right? We're gonna just do this a couple more minutes just to try to thicken up a little bit of the dough that's not yet there. We're gonna throw this in the fridge. Okay, you want to refrigerate it because they want it to stick together because they want to keep the butter cold. Now, is it going to freeze it? No, but it's going to keep it a little refrigerated for a couple of minutes, okay? So my big fridge is outside. However, I'm going to see if I have room behind me. If not, I'm just going to throw it in my fridge outside. Just give me a second. And this is what it should look like, guys. Look, it's like nice and sticking together. It's like bally, see? Like if you make pie is the only way I can really describe it. It's very similar to a pie crust. I probably wouldn't do it, Doreen. I not tried it. I probably wouldn't do it. My opinion. You can try it and you can let me know. This dough is so picky and so hard to manipulate at times. I don't know that I would try. Me personally, working with it, try to freeze it and then try to work with it. I think it would definitely. Liz, I'm totally hoping so. But I don't know. I don't think so. I hope I get extra steps. So, all right. So here we go. So I'm going to throw it outside, which I will get steps for. And again, so just so you guys get an idea, look, see how it's like all crumbly and stuff? You can't really see it. The angle's not great, but here. You hold it in your hand, you fold it together, and that's what you get. It's sticking together, but then you break it up. See? That's what you want to keep being able to do. That's your good consistency. You're going to throw it in the fridge. Yep. So not that one. The one outside. Hold on, guys. And then we're going to do the other part of the batter. All right. So now we're going to do the wet ingredients, okay? So again, because Costco only sells bowls by like the bajillions, right? I have like 10 of these things. But I'm going to pull out a different one because it's a little closer for me to use. So this is a 4 set. Again, Costco, right? 4 set of these. I love these too. These are from Costco. All right. So we're going to do, and I didn't pre-measure these, so just stay with me, guys. We're going to do a half a cup of heavy cream. Bam. Okay. Heavy cream. Again, not half and half, not light cream, heavy cream. Okay. Half a cup. A full half a cup. I always go a little over. But guys, if you don't follow the recipe instructions on this one, it gets thick. The dough gets sticky and really hard to manipulate, and it becomes a pain in the butt. Okay, half a cup of heavy cream. Then you want an egg. You want a large egg, which I have next to me here. Heavy cream is such a pain because it never wants to like come out of it, and I hate wasting my scrapers on this. I'm gonna have to because. It becomes a pain. Sometimes I actually cook lazy and I over measure so that I can afford to leave a little bit in the cup so I don't have to do this, but what have you. All right. So we have our heavy cream. We have an egg, right? Bam. 1 egg. Done. And then 1.5 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract, again from Costco. I love it. 1.5 teaspoons. So what does that mean, guys? What have I guys told you about vanilla, right? That means 2 teaspoons, right? Because I don't measure in halves when it comes to vanilla or any kind of flavoring ingredient. So we're gonna do 2 of these bad boys. It tastes awesome, so you'll see. So we threw egg, vanilla extract, heavy cream. We're gonna beat it, okay? We're gonna beat it with a whisk. You can use the same whisk, don't dirty another whisk. And you're really gonna wanna get at it because it becomes kind of fluffy. And then what you're gonna do, the next step of this recipe is you're gonna drizzle this over the flour mixture. Then you're gonna add your cup of frozen blueberries, which are here. And you're not gonna let them thaw, guys. You want them to stay frozen because it's really cool as you cook with them. They get juicier and they get really nice and flavorful. Then you end up with blue scones, which is awesome. Okay, so you just want to beat this a little bit just to kind of fluff it up a bit. And then I'm gonna go grab the. Next time I go to Mexico, I'll get you some. They have the very best. Oh, vanilla extract. I know. Yeah. So when I was there, yeah, it's the same thing. So my son's creeping over toward me, so I don't know if he's gonna make an appearance or not, guys. So just to warn you, there he is. Just to warn you, hold on. Oh no, he ran. Okay. All right. So we're gonna be drizzling this over again. The blueberries have to stay frozen. I took them out. They take a while to unthaw, guys, but Again, frozen, keep them frozen. Don't unthaw them or you're gonna have a problem, okay? All right, so again, our wine tonight is the Riddler. So lucky watcher, audience watcher, fan, whatever you want to say, will get a bottle of that delivered to their home. You gotta send me your address, guys. I especially because of the, we send it through wine.com, it gets mailed to you. So I have to give them your info. So you just gotta make sure you send me the address, please. All right, so this is beat quite a bit. I'm gonna go get the flour outside. We're gonna dump this over, okay? Then we are going to add our blueberries. It's gonna be 1 cup heaping cup, so that's like a cup and a half pretty much. And we'll go from there. So hold on a second, I'm gonna grab it. All right, ready? Good, bam. So we have our flour mixture and we're gonna drizzle it over. By drizzle, it just means dump it in, who cares? It's all gonna go to the same place. You get it all out though, okay? So you can get that scraper back out, scrape it in. Because you're gonna wanna get all of it because guys, obviously this flour mixture is gonna be dry, so you wanna make sure you get it all. The blueberries are really gonna wake it up a little bit though. It's gonna make it nice and like give it a moist consistency. I just need to get a cup measure. Doesn't look like I pulled that. I'll grab that over here. And the frozen blueberries also, guys, they smell amazing. So that's the other thing. Remember, blueberries always smell amazing, so your whole house is gonna smell like blueberries, which is not the worst thing in the world. Trust me when I tell you. All right, so I have a half cup here, ready to go. So we'll use that, we'll use 2 of those, okay? So 2. And then I'm gonna talk about something really awesome, I think awesome right now. I'm gonna talk about, well, when this is in, we gotta refrigerate it for about just a few minutes. I think it's about 10, if I remember correctly. Hold on a second. Yeah, about 10 minutes. So we're gonna talk about, and then I'll show you what a finished scone looks like because I cooked them last night. You guys don't have to stay on for the whole thing. So let me talk to you guys a little bit about what we're gonna with personal injury comp. So guess what the next big comp push is gonna be? People getting hurt working at home, right? So I'm prepping for it. Any good attorney sits there and tries to see, okay, how is this going to unfold? How's this going to come down? Yes, guys, am I busy with COVID cases? Busier than I never thought I'd see anything like COVID in my lifetime. I'd hoped I didn't anyways. We are so busy with this COVID business. I'm just telling you, we are so busy. People getting sick at work from COVID. People, and then there's that whole piece that goes there. People getting fired for getting sick at work with COVID. Just the whole thing. It's just a horrible, horrible nightmare. This whole thing is a nightmare. So, but we're at people getting, dying from COVID. Their estates are calling saying, look, like the hospitals didn't take care of my dad or my brother or whatever the case might be. So very, very, very busy, guys. Okay. But the next big claim that we're going to see because of this is mainly people working from home, right? Everybody's working from home right now. So what is that going to mean for all of you guys? Well, what it's going to mean is that you guys are going to really start to see the ramifications of working from home, such as many comp cases brought because of injuries at home. So we're going to talk about, as I mix this together, and like you guys can see, I'm struggling. It's a long day. I'm going to talk with you about it in a minute, how I see this all coming down, and what you guys should know as some of you who are working from home as to what's going to likely be covered and what's likely not going to be covered. So I think that the next big hit comp case is going to be, type of comp case is going to be working from home because everybody is. And if they're not, they should be if they're not essential because, we're never all going to get back in the office if people don't just stay home and follow orders. All right. So sorry for the noise, guys. It probably hurt your ears. Sorry. All right. So again, this is like sticky. Look, like I'm trying to wipe it off the spatula. This is what makes this recipe so, it's sticky, but it makes everything taste good. So I'm drinking Riddler. Have you had this, Myrna? Last week was Phantom, which is my personal fave at this point. But the Riddler's a good one too. It's a really good, I think it's a great bottle. I will break out one of my favorite bottle of all time, Prisoner, in these next few weeks here. That's about a $50 bottle, but it's my favorite and it's awesome. And it's a red blend. Red blends I find are better than Merlots or Cabs or whatever. All right. So we've done all that, right guys? So what we're gonna do now, if it's too dry, you can add a teaspoon or two of heavy cream. Guys, don't make it too wet because then you cannot manipulate it. This is actually perfect. Look, see how it's still like bally a little bit? So get your workstation ready. Have your flour out, ready to go. Because anybody that's made pie crust, treat it like a pie crust. You guys can't see what I'm doing. I'll show you, see? Sprinkle, okay? Sprinkle flour down. You do not want to, you got to try Phantom, Marna. You don't want this to stick too much, okay? So just take it out of there, and you want to roll it into a ball. So what I recommend you do is take it out piece by piece, okay? Just like this, bam. Like this. All right, so you're going to just take it out piece by piece until you have enough of it out that you can dump it, but it gets a little crumbly, so you want to just make sure I take it, I push it together like a fist, and then I kind of just stack it on top of each other, because what you're trying to do is make a ball so that you can, and then look at what I have. It looks like a hot mess, but this is what I have. Look, check it out. See? You guys see that? So this is it. This is your scone stuff, okay? So, let's see. Bam. Okay. So now you're just going to work with it a little bit to keep it together, kind of like make it think it's supposed to be a ball, even though it's not. And you don't want it to stick to your counter too much, okay, guys? Trust me when I tell you. So pick it up a couple times, put it down, put it all together. This is probably an intermediate baking test. So make sure, guys, that you have a little bit of baking experience under your belt before you do this, because this can be a little tricky. Now it's getting a little sticky at the top because I think at the bottom it was a little stickier. So you're just going to grab more flour, just a little bit, like a pinch at a time on this, guys. You don't want to dry it out. And then you're just going to, again, begin working with it. You don't want it sticking to your hand so much that it doesn't come together for you, okay? Good. So now we have it in a ball, right? Done. Okay. So now what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to add more flour because it's still a little sticky. Again, in pinches, guys, okay? In pinches is key. So add more flour so it's not sticking. It's almost actually a little more than it'll be perfect. You got to remember the blueberries are going to start defrosting when they hit this, so it's going to get stickier and stickier. You don't want to make it too dry, but you also need to be able to work with it. Then you're going to push it down, okay? So you're going to push it out until it's about an 8 by 8. Scones are not supposed to be thin, guys. They're not like wafers, right? So they're supposed to be nice and thick. You want to make as much of a circle as you can. I'm not saying a perfect circle because that doesn't exist when you're not using tools. But you want to make as much of a circle. And you can see, guys, it's sticking to my hand. See? This is why it's such a pain in the butt, this recipe. But like I said, the end result's good. Liz can tell you. Liz, are you still on here? You can tell them the end result's good. Liz swung by today and got one. So got a couple actually. So all right. Again, I've patted it out. Nice. And I like my scones to be like, if you have it with a coffee in the morning, you want it to be a good size. So just pat it out. But guys, look, see, it starts really getting mad because the blueberries start defrosting. So that's why you want to make sure that you're doing what I'm telling you to do and how to do it. I'm going to get a sharp knife now, and you're going to cut them into 8 pieces, okay? So let's just get these off my hand as much as possible. That's why it's important to wash your hands. Don't be gross. Sharp knife. Bam. Right? 8 pieces. So right across. I do 1 across here. Then you're going to do 1 across the side. And you should be able to drag the knife across. That's how sharp the knife should be. All right, so we have 4. So we want to do... Yeah, okay. So you're just going to want to do another cut up the center here. And if you see it start to pull, make sure you intervene. Then you're going to want to do a pull here. And you guys can't see it, but I'm going to show it to you, so don't worry about it. See? So you see how it's all, you might not be able to see the cuts as much, but all the cuts are there. Okay? Good. Perfect. Now you're good. This is going to be the weird part. So you need need wax paper, parchment paper, whatever you call it. And then you're gonna need a spatula of some sort to get this off your counter, because again, as the blueberries are defrosting, they're sticking, right? So you don't want to ruin them, but so you should be able to pull them off just like this, see? Do not try to pick them up with your hands, it won't work. Then I'm gonna show you what they look like on the paper, just hold on a second. You do not, I repeat guys, do not try to use your hands to pick these up. It won't work and it's gonna destroy them, and then you're gonna have some like weird looking scones, okay? So we're gonna pick them all off individually, bam. And then you're gonna refrigerate these bad boys for 15 minutes before you bake them. Now that's what I'm gonna do when I talk to you guys. And then at the end of that, I'll pull out what my last night's batch looked like, which these are actually, this batch is a little better, but I'm gonna pull out what last night's batch looked like, and I'll show you guys, and then we'll celebrate and da-da-da. Is everybody drinking wine? And if you are, what are you drinking? Are you drinking red? Are you white? And here's the thing, guys, if I have a wine and I do it like I'm doing now, and you don't, let's say you don't like red, I'm happy to send you what you like. I don't expect you to drink a red wine you don't like or anything. Always been intimidated to make them. They're a pain. Scones, guys, listen, what they tell you about scones being intimidated is true. They're such a pain, but they're so good. They're great, like if you have like kids and stuff like that on the weekend. My son claims he doesn't like blueberries, although he's 7, and for the first 5 years of his life, all he ate was like blueberries for fruit, right? Blueberry everything. And when they're babies, that's all they eat. There's blueberries and everything. And let me tell you, he scarfed this down last night and was like, that is so delicious. And I'm like, hallelujah, I finally found a way that this kid can eat blueberries. So there's my hands. I'm gonna wash them. I'm gonna put these outside, drink your wine, and I'll be back in 2 seconds, and then we'll talk about comp and working from home. Even guys, if you're not interested in comp, even if you're like, I would never bring a comp claim, I would never work, whatever the case might be, this is going to be super interesting information that you should know. So, because a lot of people don't know, I talked about it on the radio yesterday, and Amy and Holden on my regular morning show were like, really? I would have never thought. So, just bear with me for a second. Let me wash all this off, this nasty stuff off my hands. And then we're going to talk about it, and I'll show you what the scones look like on here. Now, you can, see, pretty, beautiful, right? You guys, you can, and we will, but I don't do it until the next step. Refrigerate these for 15 minutes, then take a little heavy cream and brush it on and make them crunchy when you're cooking them. I'll be right back. Let me just throw these out in my huge fridge outside. All right. So I'm going to pull up my chair, and then we're going to talk about this new crazy part of the law, right? Which is workers' compensation in the new workers' compensation case we're all going to start seeing, which is workers' compensation cases for people working from home. Now, how many of you... Is anybody on here working from home? I sure hope so, because there are a lot of essential employees, but I feel like that's being taken advantage of a little bit. So is anybody on here working from home? Oh, so Gail, this would be a refresher course for you. Anybody working from home? Yeah? Okay. So let's talk about, have you thought, for those working from home, have you thought about what would happen? I mean, maybe not. If you got hurt at home? Yeah, you're definitely essential to me, Angela. Have you looked at my hair? I mean, come on. Has anybody thought about what would happen if you were working from home and you got hurt at home? Would you think, how many people would think, oh, it's at my house, so I wouldn't have a case? Anybody? Most people think that. And let's talk. Okay, let's talk comp. Let's figure out what all that means. And right now, like I said, by the way, the scones are in the fridge. They're going to be in there 15 minutes. And then a drum roll, and then I'll bring out the scones from last night and show you what they're supposed to look like, although this batch is gonna look better, so I will post a picture after we're done. So does anybody on here, if you got hurt at home working from home, think you would not be covered under workers' comp? So I wanna talk to you, I wanna start this by talking to you guys about a case, okay? There was a case and I won't name the name because this is just a case law, but there's a case where a woman she worked for JCPenney, okay? And she was a fabric salesperson. So I don't know which level, but basically she worked from home. This was not a COVID relation. She just worked from home, and she had fabric at home. And she keeps the samples in her garage because clearly, right, her house is where she lives, right? So she tries to keep everything in the garage for work. She goes to fetch, you ready? And everybody listen to what I'm telling you. She goes to fetch fabric samples out of her garage, and she trips over her dog. She falls and has a very bad injury. Comp or not? Go. Again, retrieving fabric samples out of the garage. So she's on her way from, let's say, her desk in her house outside the garage to get fabric samples. She trips over her dog, and she falls and has a bad injury. Is that comp or not? Well, Gail, you can't cheat. If you heard it yesterday, you can't cheat. All right. So it was comp, guys. Okay. So one would think, okay, her dog, but it doesn't matter, right? Because she was in the exercise or the scope of her employment. She was on her way from her desk to get a fabric sample for work out of her garage. The dog was just there at the wrong spot at the wrong time. You would think, Doreen, it went far in the courts and they found in her favor. You guys, how the courts are treating these cases from working from home is they're treating homes like offices. Now, let me tell you, because most of the people in here may not be homeowners, may not be employers, like, business owners, they may be employees. If a business, my office is clearly an office, right? We have many of them. So they're working from home currently. But when we return, right, I have no plans on having anybody be a work from home just because my business model is not like that. But a lot of insurance companies, right, they do. A lot of people work from home, right? So this is what you should do if you're an employer and you have staff working from home. Now, time of COVID, okay? Firstly, you need to call your small business insurance, your workers' compensation insurance, to say if all of these people are working at home, are they covered under my policy? You may have been excluded from that. You never know, guys. Insurance is weird. You need to make sure that coverage is active. Active. This goes for business owners, not employees, guys. I'll get to you in a minute. Needs to be active, okay? Number one. Number two, okay, fine. So now that the business, the workers' comp insurance is active, you need to make sure that you're checking in with your employees and making sure that their environment is safe, right? You don't want one of your employees, for instance, working in their garage where they may park their car with carbon monoxide fumes, right? Because they have no room in their house. So you got to think, guys, okay? You got to think. You have to think. All right. If let's just say though an insurance company has 100 employees and wants to start having them work from home, not for COVID, just for general. This is what typically happens with businesses. They will send a professional to your homes, everybody's homes, the 100 employees, and they'll do an ergonomic evaluation, guys. Okay. They literally would go in your house, take pictures of your site, make recommendations. If you need a back brace, if you need this, if you need that, they'll give it to you. Okay. And that's that. It's not 50-50 responsible, Kathy, though. It was 100% comp. But they will do that. And then they roll it out, and that's the right way to do things. But in the time of COVID, people are working from home in a profession like mine that I never thought I'd have people working from home, right? So what can we as business owners do? And what are you as employees, what should you be doing, right? Well, first, you are entitled to ergonomic comfort and care. If you are, for instance, now on a phone at a desk that's not comfortable and your back is bothering you at your chair because your chair at work, you need to tell your employer that. You need to bring it to their attention. Look, John or Jane, my employer, my back is killing me from my chair at home. My neck from answering the phone in a different position is killing me. You need to give the employer a heads up and tell them, look, this is happening. Because I can tell you, these home offices are being treated a lot like regular offices. So let me give you another example. Let's say Jane is working from home, right? We'll make up a job for her. She's going to get a cup of coffee in her house. She made a cup of coffee. She trips over a wire as she leaves her desk to get her coffee and breaks her arm. Is it comp? Is it comp? She was going to get coffee. It wasn't the scope of her employment, right? Was it? She was going to just get coffee, just a cup of coffee, just like in the office when you go get coffee, right? And we have a million coffee makers in mind because we're coffee fashionistas, but what is she covered under comp when she went to get up to take a small break to go get coffee? What do you think, guys? Well, it is, but are people at work covered, Denise, when they get up to go get a cup of coffee? If you're in the office and you go get a cup of coffee, when you're not, let's say my office or my employees covered when they get up off their desk to go get a cup of coffee in the break room and then go back? Yeah? So in her home though, right? In her home where she walks into her kitchen, and you guys love my slippers, these are new. When you walk into the kitchen, is she covered? I mean, she walked into her kitchen, she tripped over a wire. Great questions, Sue. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. She's covered if you are at home working. Yeah, but I mean, like, when does that end? Where are the bounds? Where are the limits, Angela? You don't know, right? Because this is unprecedented. Comp cases working from home are so slim to none that these issues have not really totally been litigated out. So firstly, would Jane, if I trip over Paul's wires and fall while he is working? I mean, the only thing you would have is a homeowner's claim, and you can't be, typically homeowner's claims exclude the people within the home that could have or knew of the defect. So for instance, I can go into that in more detail later, but the question is yes, or the answer is yes. She'd be covered. She's leaving her desk to get a cup of coffee, even if she's not on the phone working, even if she's just in her zone, she needs a minute, 5 minutes of breathing time, she's covered, guys. If my staff gets up to get a cup of coffee out of my kitchen, she's covered. Yeah, well, that's the other thing, Kathy, right? How many of you are working from home that are having a hard time turning it off? I sure am. I'm working till 6:30, 7 o'clock at night most nights. Why? Because it's right over there. I'd show you my office, but it's right over there. So during business hours, is it covered? Yes, but when do business hours end, right? So if one of my staff members decides that, oh, she's got to catch up on some stuff, or he's got to catch up on some stuff, and it's 6:30 at night, and they usually get off at 5, no problem, fine. And then she trips over the wire. Oh, here's a better one. So a member of ABC company, okay, so she works till 5 normally. She stays on till 6 because she's exhausted. She goes to walk out to her car to go to the grocery store. Now she stopped working. She's going from her desk to her car. She has to go to the grocery store. Is she going to be covered under comp, guys, if she falls in her driveway on her way to her car to go to the grocery store? What do you think? So she falls on her way to her car, and I signed out for the day. She signed off. She walks from her chair to her car to get in her car to go to the grocery store. What do you think? So normally, okay, guys, here's the deal. The hours matter, but it depends on what she was doing, and this is where it's so weird, right? So Marna, good point. So Marna, I'm not going to tell everybody who you are, but this you should know, okay? If your employees clock out at work, they're covered under workers' comp until they get into their car and go bye-bye. So, John Smith, I can't say what they do. I don't want to tell everybody who you are. So, John Smith leaves your job, Marna, and he slips on ice on his way to his car, but he clocked out. You're on the hook for his comp case. Yeah, it's comp. Even if he clocked out, you're covered to the car. So, the question becomes, well, if Jane left her chair at her desk and went out to her car, or was going out to her car, hadn't gotten there yet when she fell on the pavement, is it covered? If Jane called me with that case, I sure would take it. Sure. It's the way it is, Angela. That's the rules. I would take that case in a minute. I would fight it too, because the precedent under other facts patterns, like if somebody leaves ABC companies walking out to their car and falls, it makes it comp, I would take it and I would argue the same precedent. So if somebody said, hey, look, on my way out, again, it would have to be right after work. It can't be, hey, look, I spent a couple hours on the couch. But if she left her seat to get in the car to go to the grocery store, it's covered. Now, how about if your employees have to go to the post office during the day and they get in a car accident? Is that comp? Sure is. Sure is, guys. So there's all these different moving parts now that we've never had, right? And how do they file it? Well, and somebody had asked me here, can a job fire you for that? Good luck firing one of my clients. I'll bring a wrongful termination case against you. You can't do that. You're going to pay way more to my client in a wrongful termination case. Is it because it would still be on your property? Just like if you felt, yes, that's exactly right, Sue. That would be my argument. Now, would I win? It's not precedented, but I can tell you right now, chances are better that I'm going to win it than I'm not. So people ask me about fire. Can my job fire me? Can they do it? Well, they can do whatever they want, but you have rights too, right? As an employee, most employers right now would not be dumb enough to do that. And if they are, they're dumb and they're people you don't want to work for. I'm getting a lot of calls about these home office injuries. I had somebody fall the other day and tear their meniscus in their knee. What he did is he has a phone cord. He's got it plugged into his router, tripped over, went over tea kettle, right? And tore his meniscus. He needs surgery. It's an elective procedure. The insurance company is like, that's not comp. We're not covering that. And I'm like, welcome to the rodeo, baby. Let's go. Because you are. And because people don't understand. I do a lot. I've done actually probably way more than most. I don't know why. It's weird. You can file wrongful termination on workers' comp. You absolutely can. Yep, it's a part of the same action, but it's a separate action. It's called you merge them together. They're not the same, but you merge them together so that they follow each other. But that's correct. Yes, you can bring a wrongful termination case in a workers' comp claim, which is what I always tell my staff. Look, if you think you're fired as a result of a workers' comp injury, then you should bring them both as the same. Different things go on with both guys, but usually we flag them together in the hearings and everything on the same day. Yeah. I'm going to grab the scones out of the fridge. I'll be right back, guys, and keep asking questions because you guys have a lot. Obviously, we've touched on a good subject, so ask me some questions. I'll be back to answer. Hold on. Okay. So you remember how we talked about putting the cream on them? It is to make them crunchier on top. So I like a cakey scone. Some people don't. Some people like a not cakey scone. My wife is in the corner shaking her head. She likes them more cooked. Whatever. I like a cakier scone. I don't know why. So you're going to make it a little crunch. So you're going to put about this much cream. And you're just going to put it across the top of each scone. And then you're going to just take the spoon and rub it in. That's all. Just like this. And I'll show you what it all looks like, guys. Okay. Hopefully you guys aren't all too scared away of making scones because they are a pain. Absolutely. 110%. But they're fun. And then after this, if you guys want, when they're cooking, and you don't have to stay on for the whole thing, I will show you guys how to make the icing because the icing is super easy to make. And you obviously need icing for scones. I'm actually going to put a little lemon juice in my icing because that was a request I got. So, do we have a lemon?
We have a lemon juice.
Oh, lemon juice? Okay. May I have a... I'll take the lemon juice. It'll be easier.
It's right. It's in the refrigerator.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's in there.
Awesome, thank you.
I'll take some wine.
I'm going to take wine. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm just doing this. What kind of wine are you drinking? Riddler. So, Angela, do you like red blends? You have to try. I know I keep talking about it. Phantom. It is like my fave. Phantom's awesome. This is a good bottle too. You know, I always pay attention to the grading scale. You have to. Pay attention to the grade scale for wines. Don't just buy a wine because the store says it's good. Always pay attention to the grade scale. Somebody just asked me a question. Hold on. What kind of wine are you drinking? This is a higher in fire at will state, so how would you be able to prove? Well, that's the thing. That's why we have a lawyer. It's not up to you to prove. It's up to me. So it depends. They have to provide evidence too, right? So let's just say, and I'm sorry, I didn't get the name of who asked me this question, which is a great one, Sue. And again, guys, this is what they're supposed to look like before I start talking again. So see how there's like cream on top? Can you guys see the cream on top? The heavy cream? Okay, that's what you want all of them to look like. I'm just gonna take these here, and we're gonna pop them in the oven. We're gonna make the other stuff, and we'll talk about that question because that's great. We are hire and fire at will state, absolutely. Okay, it's actually great, just to let you know, that we are hire and fire because it helps you guys too, right? Not only can an employer fire you at will, but they can't discriminate against you, right? You can't fire somebody because they're a woman or because they're a man or because they're black, white, Hispanic, Asian. You can't do that, right? You can't do that. It's not right. And my fridge, yes, is full. Okay. However, you obviously have to make a good case of why you feel that you are being fired for the comp case. How do you do that? Well, Sue, I would look and see what is Sue's record. Now, you might come into my office and say, Brooke, look, I am a stellar employee. I've never gotten in any trouble, no write-ups, no nothing, right? But then I find out, no, Sue, you were written up 3 times for doing A, B, C, D, and E, and They have to have reason. I mean, if you're a stellar employee, if you are like a star employee and all of a sudden they fire you after you got injured, I mean, I think, my opinion, which I've been successful at, that's good enough, right? I mean, obviously we look at other things as well, but that's good enough. You know, it really just depends on what the employer has, but this is why it's important you're honest with your lawyer, okay? And this is where you're definitely going to want a lawyer, by the way. You're going to want to be honest with your lawyer. It doesn't help you to not be honest with your lawyer and tell them everything, because if you don't, then this stuff is going to bite you later, okay? You need powdered sugar, confectioner sugar, whatever you want to call this, okay? For our, we're going to be doing our icing now, so I'm going to grab my cup measurer, and we are going to do this. The one thing with this recipe too is it requires so many of my cups that I run out of them. So just give me a second. And then, so I have a 3rd cup, so I'm just gonna do 3 of these because that's fun. Okay, bam. Be careful with powdered sugar because it goes everywhere. Okay, everywhere is an understatement. So just always be careful with it, because it's gross, but it's super fun to make icing with, okay? So, 1, we need 3 of these. I need some heavy cream again, which I'll grab out in a second. And you wanna measure this, guys, because this stuff is like nuclear. And it gets everywhere, just to let you know. See, literally, it just like went all over me. 2, and then 3. You're gonna take a little vanilla extract and some, I'm gonna use a thinner one, so I'm gonna use milk. For this one, so we're gonna do 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk. Can you grab me the tablespoons?
Can you get the water bottle up there for him?
I can. Hold on, guys. I'm just gonna grab milk. Do not use almond milk, guys. You're gonna want to use regular milk. 2%, 1% doesn't matter. Don't use almond milk because it doesn't have the same consistency as milk. It's not gonna come together as well. 2 to 3 tablespoons. So I'll grab that. Then we're gonna throw these in. And the scones are cooking when you're doing this, guys, okay? So you're like double dealing. The little man, he loved them. Angela, the kid, loved them. The scones. I assure you, he loved it. He was like, this is so delicious. I honestly didn't believe he liked it until I heard this is so delicious. So I'm like, is he talking about something else? I don't know, something else in the house. So 2 to 3 tablespoons of this. Again, this is just regular milk, guys. And then you're gonna start seeing, look, this is like my favorite part, the reaction between the 2 of them. And then you're gonna throw in a half a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, which means what, guys? A full teaspoon of vanilla extract, right? Because that's how we roll. So we're gonna grab that on here. Vanilla extracto. And then I'm gonna grab some lemon juice because I got a request for lemon, God forbid. Let's see. And it's a huge, so of course, again, in regular fashion, my lemon juice is ginormous. If I can find it, it's probably in, oh, it's in the outside. Hold on, guys. I put it out there earlier because I didn't think I'd be using it. So many of you might not know, but I'm married to a Greek, so we always have to have lemon in it. And look, so that's what we got. So be careful. Oh my God, I love lemon juice. Again, this stuff is nuclear. I wouldn't put more than a half a teaspoon in here, probably. Maybe a little more. Good. All right. Now you're gonna whisk it all together. I'm just gonna grab a spoon on this, fork rather. But you're gonna mix it all together, and then you're gonna mix it until you get a nice thin icing. It's gonna be awesome because the icing's gonna taste great. Okay. I just had another question on here. Oh, yes. Thanks, John. Yeah, so I think that I like to try to talk about, when I do these, issues that are current in comp, right? Like, that's what we like, because you don't want to bore people to death and talk to them, okay, this is comp, et cetera, but if you talk to them about real issues, they listen and you learn. And my favorite part of becoming an attorney and why I wanted to be an attorney is I love to teach and educate. And the fact that I get to do that every day and people want to listen to me talk is amazing, right? So I get to get really good at something and then teach the world about it. So look at this nice consistency, and this is what you want. It looks like water just because of how you guys are seeing it, but it's not. It's a really thin icing. But what do you think this is good for? This motion. You drizzle it, okay? Angela, I started in college, so I don't know. I mean, my mom has always baked my entire life. Like, she bakes now even, and she bakes, her big thing is pumpkin roll, which she should do one of these. When she comes here, I'm gonna make her highlight one of these with me, and we're gonna teach you guys how to make this awesome pumpkin roll that my mom makes. It's amazing. So I'm gonna show you what the scones is supposed to look like. I can talk to you guys more about this if you guys want to wait until they come out, which is in about, 10 minutes or so. And we can keep talking. So let me show you what they're going to look like. Is here. And again, this was, my son helped me decorate, but you guys will see how they puff up. See the bottoms? All nice like that? And all the blueberries, they're awesome. And then he wanted to put pink sugar on them, but I wasn't down with that, actually. But yeah, he ate them, he loved them, and when you're me in that situation, it's great. So guys, right now, what would happen if I got burnt when I'm cooking? What happens? Comp or not? I'm not on the clock, right? Well, technically, I'm an owner of a business, but what would happen? What would happen for me? And what would happen for most? So let me tell you, because you guys are gonna get, okay, if an employee gets hurt on the job and a spouse or partner has to pick up the slack for what you no longer do, are they able to file a claim? No. The answer is no. So now let me explain something to you. So the recipe's posted, but I'll repost it with a picture of these when they come out. So that's a good question. If your spouse has to pick up the slack, what happens? Firstly, this is comp, guys, not third party. It's not going to happen for you. It's not. So forget that. However, I think it's important to tell you guys in a third party case. So in a case where you get in a car accident or something, we call that something called loss of consortium, loss of love, enjoyment, etc. Basically, and truthfully, being blunt, the loss of being able to be intimate with your partner, the loss of your partner being able to, care and give you and just participate in the marriage or relationship. This is called loss of consortium in Connecticut. And you would have a claim if there was a car accident or something like that. Not under comp. Nope, not gonna happen. No attorney's gonna take that case. But that is a great question. People are asking me about COVID too. They're asking me a lot about COVID. What happens if somebody gets COVID at work, but then they recover in 2 weeks? We'll know soon. We'll find out. Sure, we'll find out. What the permanent issues are. But I had a case come in the other day where a woman got COVID. And she was on a ventilator for 16 days, guys, and she has lost some brain function. It's scary and it's terrible. She lost some brain function and she's learning how to speak again, starting to, and she's going to have a brain impairment. I mean, she was a perfectly functioning nurse, and now she's, she can't barely talk. What would happen if a home care nurse has been exposed and comes down with COVID? Is the nurse? Absolutely. You better believe it, Christine. So if you are at a home and you are caring for a patient and you are infected with COVID, yes, you are absolutely covered under workers' comp. Now, let me tell you something else. if you are now, you drive from patient's house to patient's house. If you're in a car accident between homes, you would have a duplicate. You would have a third party case, a case against the driver that may have caused the accident, and a cop case. You're covered at any time that you're on the clock and or on your way to a patient's house, because that's working. Don't you agree, guys? So yes, Christine, that's a great question. If you get COVID as a home healthcare nurse, you are covered. Now let's talk about something else on that topic. If you work for yourself, you own the home healthcare company or what have you, whatever the case might be. I am a child, so I love playing with the icing, right? But it's awesome. Look. So that's what's going to be all over the scones, if you guys can see. So if you are a home healthcare aide and you work for yourself, or you, I don't know, you do it on your own, let's say you cash, whatever, guys, get comp insurance and make sure you're covered. So most people don't know this, but when you own a business, I do because I do this. When you own a business, most comp policies exclude the owners. They do. Okay, they just cover the employees even if you don't have any. So one would wonder, why would you get comp? Well, you're right. Absolutely, you're right. Why would you get comp? I don't know. But they exclude the owners. You need to make sure you're included on your own, guys, all right? So if you're a home healthcare nurse or whatever it is that you do for a living, you need to make sure that you're covered, because comp insurance is not going to go anywhere if you're not covered. Christine, that was an excellent question. I had a call today from a cook of a place where they've had 31 deaths, I think he said, and he was fighting for masks. They wouldn't give it to him. They wouldn't give it to him. They tried to fire him for fighting for masks. He was trying to get all the employees on board to say, look, let's refuse to work unless we have masks. He's a chef in a nursing home. What do you think happened to this guy? 2 days later, 2 days after the boss was like, you are creating problems for me, I'm going to fire you. Chef comes down with COVID, positive. He was never given a mask, right? Now all of a sudden the job is like, hey, look, I want to, we'll talk after you get better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In the town where you cut my hair, Angela, we'll get better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then today, now he's better, but I mean, guys, you test positive for a month or more sometimes. He's better, and the job said, look, if you don't resign, I'm going to fire you. I said, let them fire you. Guys, you get so much more benefits when you're fired under comp than if you're resigned, because it restricts you from being, unless they fire you for cause, which we're not going to get into, but if they just fire you because of any reason other than for cause, it restricts you on what benefits you can get. So I said, no, you will not resign. Let him fire you, and then watch how quick I slap them with a comp claim and a wrongful termination claim. I can't wait. It's fantastic. And he'll be lucky if he doesn't get hit with another claim for lack of PPE. Right? Guys, look, I don't care. He cooks food in a kitchen, right? Circulated air in these places. Then he delivers it to patients' rooms. He's around these people and they won't even give him masks. This is a nightmare. Insurance companies right now are trying to push for indemnification, meaning that they're trying to prevent medical malpractice cases from being able to be brought as a result of COVID. So if somebody feels that somebody mistakenly messed up as a result of a COVID infection, they don't think you should be done. It's crazy. It's crazy. The stuff I'm seeing is stuff I wish I never had to see in my career. But you know what it is? It's a lack of humanity. What it is, it's a love of this. And a lack, you learn who the good employers are through this and who the crappy employers are, because they don't care about their people. Just the way it is, guys, the way it is. Let me check on the scones. Any other questions? I'm happy to answer them. I can tell you the stuff that we've been hearing over these last few weeks, I would really wish I'd never had to hear. Business or not business. We're busier than ever, guys. Busier than ever. News outlets are calling. They want me to go on. They want me to talk about this stuff. Yeah, great, fine. But the stuff we're hearing is truly sad. It's terrible. Oh, they look awesome. So they're not even close to being done, guys, just by the way. I think I have another probably, 10 minutes or so. So you guys don't have to stay on. You can, you don't have to. If anybody has any more questions, and if not, then we can close it for the night. And what do you guys want me to make next week? I have a great recipe for cinnamon roll cookies, which are awesome. They're like little cinnamon rolls, and they taste like cinnamon rolls, but they're cinnamon roll cookies. They taste awesome. They look awesome. If there's any interest in that, I can make toffee cookies, which are made with Heath Bar. Those are fantastic. I can make a coffee cookie, which is awesome. It's made with coffee. So it's actually a coffee mocha cookie. So it's a chocolate coffee cookie, and they're awesome. They're great with coffee. I like to make things that are weird. You know what I mean? So what is it that you guys want me to make? You're all saying yes, but I don't know to which cookie it was. And as workers' comp still moving forward, it is, guys, I am settling more cases than you've ever seen in your life for good money. So you guys know, you probably learned about me by now, I'm not the place that people bark up my tree to settle for crappy money. I laugh at them. I laughed at somebody the other day. I absolutely am not the person that people go to for that, okay? People come to me when they really want their case handled, and they want somebody that's gonna go fight for them and to make sure that they get the maximum recovery. That's why they come to me. So we've been settling cases for the crazy amounts of money and comp, and it's great. But cases are continuing to move, Doreen. It's a great question. Comp formals are now going over the phone. I don't know that we're gonna get back into comp before the end of the year. I don't know. Cinnamon roll. So is it cinnamon? You guys want cinnamon or coffee? I could put a poll up if you want, but I'm happy to make the coffee mocha ones are really cool. They're really hard to make, but they're fun, and they're great, and they're different. Or I can make cinnamon rolls. Your choice. So cinnamon sounds good too. What I can do is I can make cinnamon rolls. Let's say next week, coffee. Okay, so I'll take a poll. We'll do a poll. Just make sure everybody votes on the poll, please. Kylie, if you're still on here, please put up a poll if they want coffee, if they want cinnamon roll cookies or coffee, or it's coffee mocha cookies. I made those in college last, so I'll have to make a test batch, but they're amazing, guys. And they actually have coffee bits in them. They're great. We'll go from there. So, again, guys, I appreciate you watching. It's fun. I love doing this. This is my favorite thing to do. I love to, not the camera part of it, but talking to you guys and educating you. And I love talking about subjects that you don't know a lot about. If you guys have questions, ask me. I think cinnamon gets the majority vote. So they look like little cinnamon rolls. They're awesome. And I'll give you guys some pointers, and we'll make the icing again, because now you guys know how to make it. Now look what happens to the icing, guys, when it sits a bit. See, it thickens up a bit. So what you want to do is that crazy drizzle that they do when you get to go like this. If you use heavy cream to make this, the problem you run into with the heavy cream is that it gets too thick, and then you get more of like a frosting, like a cake frosting. Now it's just like that, okay? So cinnamon roll it is next week. The wine, I'm gonna do a white next week. I don't know. I don't know if you guys know, if you guys are local, but wine stores are doing curbside pickup. So Total Wines is right here in West Hartford. They do curbside pickup. You go online, you check out, and you text them when you get there, and they come out in 2 seconds with it, all masked, the whole thing, and they put it in your trunk. So I picked up a lot of really awesome bottles. I always like to mix up. I have found the best tasting wines are between $18 and $25. My opinion. Now, you might disagree, but the best tasting wines are between $18 and $25. There are some wines that, I'll be honest with you, I've tasted, I'm like, wow, this must be like a $100 bottle. It's like 14. So guys, its price doesn't tell you a lot about wine. What the ratings do and what people say about it does. Okay, so just keep that in mind for when you're drinking it. I don't drink tons of it, but when I drink it, I like to drink a good bottle of wine. I'm having steak tonight, so this will be it. I belong to, do you know Butcher Box? Have you guys familiar with this? With this, I like the Josh Rosé. Are you guys familiar with Butcher Box? Josh Rosé is awesome, Angela. If you're looking for a good rosé, it's awesome. So Butcher Box delivers meats to your door, and they're all organic and they're great. I don't know if you guys have had Whole Foods meats, but they're really good. They're comparable to that. So we get a box every other month, and it was great. I had some expensive wine in it. Tasted gross. It is. So there was a bottle. I was totally being cheap. We had some friends over about, I don't know, maybe right before COVID. It's about 2 months ago. And I had a bottle, and I know it's a $75 bottle. So I like to save it, like, if we're around or whatever the case might be. No, Angie wanted to break it out fine. It was the worst tasting wine ever. I also don't like oaky reds. If you guys are into oaky reds, I don't like them. I think they taste terrible. I will send you the site. So it's wine.com, Doreen. And if you get I think the membership's like $20, and then you get free shipping forever. So you guys, all your shipping is free. So just, let's see what these are doing. and I'll bring you over and show them to you. Yeah, so these they look fabulous. They're not brown enough yet though, so they have a few more minutes. So guys, if you have any, you can feel free to break off. My feelings won't be hurt. If you have any other questions about anything comp, anything car accident, anything slip and fall, anything personal injury, I'm here to help. I'm obviously, I'm waiting for the scone. So if not, you guys can break off if you want. Thanks for watching. We're getting an awesome dedicated audience here, which is great. Invite your friends, invite people, do viewer parties, whatever it is. I think it's awesome. I really, really, really love being able to do this with you guys, and I love the support. So thanks, guys. And I hope everybody stays safe. Make sure you take care of yourselves and wear a mask. And that's it. So anybody has any questions, I'm here. If not, you guys want to break off, perfectly fine. And we can talk. Sure, Angela, no problem. Come back next week. I heard it's like 90 degrees in Florida now too, so that's nice. I know, so who's getting the scones? I don't know yet. I have to drive around on today and drop them at doorstep, so I'm not sure yet who's getting it. You can bake outside, Angela. It's like 90 degrees down now. Can you like bake out on your like patio? You're welcome, guys. So take it easy, okay? I'm gonna break off. I'll post a picture of the final products. Oh, you're home? Now they need to make you essential. Now they know that information. If I had something to discuss, would I be able to absolutely sue? You can message me on Facebook. You can text us. Take the number down. 203-399-0000. Kylie, if you want to put that in the comments. And you can call us, 203-399-0000, extension 1. Everything's confidential, guys. Until you retain me, everything's confidential. It's not like you have to worry about me talking to your employer or anything like that. It doesn't work that way, and we don't, trust me, the last thing I do is talk to employers. I will be in the area on Friday. Doreen, if you're around on Friday, you're welcome to pick one up. I can put it out on the doorstep, nice social distancing. I can wrap it in foil and you can have one, and then you can talk about it on air. You can tell them either I'm steering them right or steering them wrong. Great recipe, guys. But again, make the icing when they're in, because you have to ice them when they're still warm, number one. Use milk for your icing, all-purpose flour for making these. And what else did I want you guys to know about? Oh, frozen butter in the grinder. Okay, guys? Okay, good. All right, guys, thanks. Take it easy, all right? I'm going to break off. Thanks.